Hello everyone, Kevin Crouch with Ellis County Weather here. We are in the process right now of watching and waiting to see what kind of evening we're going to have, because as you see right now, there's nothing on the radar here, nothing happening at this time across North Texas, but that may very well change over the next few hours here. It's all dependent upon the cap and that warm layer of air aloft that could very well prohibit any storm development. The thing is that the consensus right now is that we could very well see the cap break and could see storms develop tonight. So I want to take you through what we're expecting there, as well as what we're looking at for tomorrow. We have some new information there. So let's just take a look at a couple of the models. What I want to show you is the fact that the models are not in perfect agreement, but there is a pretty good consensus on at least two of the three of what we're going to be looking at. So here is the HR model here, this high resolution model, and as you can see, let's see, that's right at about 7 o'clock. You see some development right in the southern part of Oklahoma there, but that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot in addition to that. And this will carry us into 10 o'clock tonight. You can see kind of the remnants of that pushing off to the east, and really nothing going on. So that is one of the models that we're looking at. Now, if we carry this model forward, what you begin to see is the cold front starts to show up to the north, okay? So that's what you're seeing. Now, here's a couple of things about the cold front. The cold front is expected to possibly stall in this area from about Wichita Falls down to Sweetwater, and possibly further out than that, but this model doesn't really seem to reflect that too well, unless the model doesn't think that it's going to move this far south. But there is talk about the fact that the model may very well stall out in northwestern parts of our area. Let's get to a different model here. This is going to be the Nand model, and this is another one of the shorter range models that we watch. And it's interesting because some of the other meteorologists in the area are kind of pointing to this one. And you can see right about 5 o'clock, so very, very soon here, we see this development from about Ardmore down on to Abilene and developing along the dry line there, and then look at this explosive development here. This very, very strong line of storms. I can already tell you, if this does in fact happen, we're mostly looking at a damaging wind threat. So we have this line here and then kind of breaking off there as well. And again, this is assuming that the cap breaks. This is one scenario that is expected should we lose that atmospheric inhibition. I don't know what that sound was, that atmospheric inhibition to the storm development. So if I carry this forward a little bit more here, this is the storms impacting our area right around 10 o'clock tonight. So this is 10 o'clock, and so this is kind of the timeline for this scenario that we're looking at. Let's go to, actually, let's carry this forward a little bit. And as we continue this on, so this shows the cold front around 9 a.m. moving into the Wichita Falls area. So it does look like the front may move into our area a little bit earlier. So as this continues on, what you start to see right around 8 o'clock tomorrow night is this development of a thin line of storms in our area. So again, this is one scenario, and it looks like it really begins to intensify through our area through that period of time. And we continue on, and then it just goes on through East Texas with much more strength. And then what's interesting is we carry this on, and looks like it's not quite ready there, but over the course of Sunday, we're waiting for the rest of this model to run. But over the course of Sunday, we have more development of just some scattered showers and thunderstorms over our area, and not looking at anything severe in that time period. Let's go over to the Gfs model. This is a global, longer-term model, but sometimes we can use it for kind of shorter-term stuff as well. So let's kind of let it give us an idea. And so it has, kind of similar to that Nand model, a large complex of storms. This is about 7 o'clock. And let's actually take this on to the next frame here, which is 10 o'clock. Again, moving into our area about 10 o'clock. So that's why there's a little bit more consensus on the idea of storms developing and moving into our area, like I said, right around 10, 11 o'clock time period. So I will continue to watch all of this activity and continue to watch everything to see what happens. Like I said, for now, there isn't really much happening. Over here, it looks like that actually could be, let me get these dots off the screen there. It looks like this could actually be a fire out north of Abilene, rather than a stationary storm. That's just what I'm thinking, what it's looking like. But if we put that into motion, you can see there that's pretty much coming off of the same spot, and really not a whole lot of development in that area right now. So stay tuned. We will continue to keep an eye on that for you. So as far as the models are concerned, looks like we could have a line of strong to severe thunderstorms move in tonight, and we could have a line of storms move through tomorrow as well, tomorrow evening. It really looks like tomorrow may be a little bit earlier than tonight. A couple of things that I want to show you here. Let's talk about the severe weather risk tonight. Again, this is showing that you have that slight risk from really to the Tulsa area on down to Wichita Falls there, and then a marginal risk, mostly including Ellis County here. Just, the majority of Ellis County is included there in that marginal risk. I think that's fair. It'll be interesting to see if this gets updated over, I would say, the next couple of hours as the cap, the fate of the cap is better defined, and we get a better idea kind of what atmospheric conditions we're looking at for tonight. If we look at tomorrow, and this is something that I said last night I was expecting, we do now have this area of a slight risk that does go from central Arkansas and farther north and east than that, on down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area and down to the Austin area. So this whole area is in a slight risk of severe weather. So what are we expecting really in detail during that time? Let's kind of go over those specifics. So this is Friday. This is tonight. We're still in that marginal risk of severe weather. The damaging wind and hail, I have added those to a moderate risk because it does look a little bit more likely that the cap will break and we will see storms tonight. Again, damaging winds and hail is the main threat tonight. I'm really not expecting much of a tornado threat. I've already had some folks ask me about that. Also not really expecting anything as far as flooding tonight as well. This is going to move through fairly quickly. Not expecting that. We could be talking about flooding Monday and Tuesday. We'll get to that in just a moment. If we go ahead over to Saturday, that's where we had that slight risk of severe weather. And really I'm looking at kind of the same thing, kind of a moderate risk of damaging wind and hail. Again, not really looking at much of a tornado threat right now. That's not really a part of my calculus. And again, not really looking at a hail threat, or a flooding threat either during that period of time. So really the next couple of days, tonight and tomorrow, we're looking at a damaging wind, large hail threat, mostly a damaging wind threat out of the two. That hail threat, we could possibly downgrade that to low, but since I didn't define that specifically as damaging hail or large hail, just looking at a hail threat. So, I'm going to go ahead and keep that moderate for those of you that might get technical on me. So that's what we're expecting for tonight. Let's talk about the forecast a little bit. So we have Friday night. I've upgraded that to 30% rather than 20%, just because it looks a little more likely that we'll get this. And again, it's one of those conditional things. It's kind of an all or nothing deal. If the cap breaks, we're looking at a pretty decent likelihood that storms will move through our area. If not really thinking much is going to happen. Of course, today was still pretty warm with highs in the mid-90s, We get to Saturday. I have dropped the forecast for Saturday, the forecast high. It does look like that cold front could come in a little bit earlier, so I'm not entirely sure we're going to reach the mid-90s or the low 90s. We may just hit 90 degrees. That will be refined a little bit. The speed of the front, when that dislodges from being stationary and starts to move through, we'll get a better idea tomorrow. Be prepared for temperatures in the 90s, but we may get a little bit of a break with the front moving in a little bit quicker. 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. That may go up as we get a better idea of what we're looking at tomorrow night. But just keep in mind that we could have some strong to severe thunderstorms through that period. Sunday, looking at a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms. I expect these to be scattered storms. Of course, you see that strikingly low temperature there in the mid-70s. Monday and Tuesday are the interesting period of time we're looking at here. Monday, 60% chance of showers. I've still got a 60% chance Tuesday. Looks like we could actually see more rain in the overnight hours as these disturbances move through. But I have 60%, which could go up over the next 24 hours. Wednesday, we're looking at a 30% chance of showers. Thursday, it looks like we dry out. But look at these temperatures. Upper 70s to around 80 degrees throughout the rest of the week. You can't argue with that, right? That cold front is definitely going to do us some favors. Unfortunately, it looks like next weekend we could be back in the 90s. Make sure that you're following Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube tonight for live coverage of the storms as they come through. I'll be posting updates before then as well, and also about tomorrow. So I'll be monitoring through the day tomorrow to get a better idea of what we're looking at for tomorrow afternoon and evening. Make sure you're going to elliscountyweather.com for everything Ellis County weather, from the latest forecast information to all the social links to even the store where you can buy t-shirts. I've got a link to the National Weather Service interactive radar there. Several different resources there that you can make sure to stay plugged in to Ellis County weather through that website. Stay tuned. Throughout the rest of the day, I'm going to be bringing more updates as we get closer to, we're looking at filming this. It's just turned about 4:30. So, again, the next 3 to 4 hours will really be definitive in terms of finding out exactly what we're looking at for tonight. I'll have more updates throughout the evening.